Hey everybody, this is Mike with Freerunning Photography, and in this video we're going to discuss the best places to do birding and find birds in Grand Teton National Park, as well as a couple other locations outside of the park, which I'll share at the end. And just a quick reminder, I do offer private photography workshops in Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Parks, so if you want to come out and find some birds with me in Grand Teton or Yellowstone, be sure to check out the link in the description below. And since the dynamics change a lot during the winter, this is primarily for spring, summer, and fall. I'll probably do another one for the winter, but for the time being, this is mainly for those seasons, spring, summer, and fall. And with that out of the way, let's get going. All right, so one of my favorite spots right off the bat is the Moose Wilson Road. This is actually a very great location for birds, but be aware of the traffic as well as the traffic laws regarding this road. It's a small, winding, narrow road, so while it does make for a great spot to get out and see what's around, a lot of traffic does come through, sometimes a little faster than it should, and so you want to watch out for that. So there are a couple of ideal places where you can stop and pull over and walk around a little bit, but due to the engineering of this road, it's very limited, even though it does have some really fantastic opportunities. All over the road, you're going to see lots of waterfowl as it parallels creeks and beaver dams, as well as sandhill cranes, many smaller warblers like yellow warblers, yellow-rumped warblers. I've even seen a hooded warbler there during spring migration, which, if you know anything about them, should not be there. Similarly, there's also grosbeaks, flycatchers, ruby-crowned kinglets, and much more. And in reality, this is primarily the north section of the road. The south section still has some great stuff on it as you're leaving the park, but really a lot of this stuff is along the northern section where those beaver ponds and the creek are. One of these spots is a large parking area, probably about a mile from the Moose Junction. You head south and there's a very large parking lot overlooking a large beaver pond, and lots of stuff you could potentially see here. There's even a small trail where you could walk into the woods and find a few more things. I've seen green-tailed towhees back there, hairy woodpeckers, bald eagles, sandhill cranes. It's also a great spot to look for owls, so they are likely there as well. Just be sure to practice good ethics with them because they are very skittish. Another great spot nearby to that is Blacktail Ponds. This is along Highway 89 just north of the Moose Junction, and it's primarily used as an overlook for people that are looking for things like moose. Also a great place to catch moose if you're looking for one. But there's also a trail that goes down into the willows and along some of these slower side channels of the Snake River. And down there, frequently I've seen black-headed grosbeaks, broad-tailed hummingbirds, calliope hummingbirds, willow flycatchers, and numerous other things such as waterfowl once you get closer to the water, such as widgeons and Barrow's golden eyes and things like that. And just a little bit farther north, there's another slower side channel of the Snake River with a lot of beaver ponds on it, and that is Schwabacher Landing. This is a famous spot to catch both sunrise as well as moose, but with all the beaver ponds and the wetlands, it's also a great spot for birds. I see a lot of waterfowl here, such as gadwall, Barrow's golden eyes, American widgeons, among many others. I've seen cedar waxwings there. There's flycatchers, ruby-crowned kinglets, warblers, and many other things. It's a fantastic spot for birds, as well as other wildlife, such as moose or just the view itself. So it's definitely worth a stop, especially if you're looking for birds. Farther north in the park is Oxbow Bend, and this is one of the iconic postcard views within Grand Teton National Park. In addition to that, there are birds all over its waters. It's a bend in the Snake River that's moving very slow, so you get a lot of waterfowl, you get a lot of birds of prey, and many other things just enjoying the peace and quiet of the water in that area. A lot of what I frequently see there are American white pelicans, trumpeter swans, bald eagles, osprey, great blue herons, and then some smaller birds as well, such as various duck species and even spotted sandpipers. It is a very iconic and beautiful view, so it's very inviting to just kind of sit there and relax and see what kind of birds come along the way as they fly in and out of the area. And then not too far from Oxbow Bend is the Jackson Lake Dam area. And this dam was built in 1916, so it predates the park. On the dam side, I don't frequently see too many birds, but that doesn't mean there won't be any there. Most of the bird activity, though, around the Jackson Lake Dam is in the Snake River as it flows away from the dam. But then also there's some beaver ponds that you can access just below the dam by taking a small road into a parking area and walking out and exploring that part. Now in this area, I've seen red-winged blackbirds, a lot of different waterfowl such as green-winged teals, American widgeons, mallards. There's also been various swallows frequently, great blue herons come and go, and then even larger birds flying along the river such as bald eagles and American white white pelicans, among many others. So it makes for a fantastic spot to stop and try to see what's out and what's available in that spot. And then kind of on the opposite end of the park, there's Antelope Flats in the southeast corner of Grand Teton National Park. And that is a vast expanse of sagebrush. It's nicknamed as Sagebrush Sea just because it's a massive open expanse of sagebrush. At first it appears empty and lifeless, but looks can be deceiving. Throughout the sagebrush flats, there are all kinds of birds, including vesper sparrows, savanna sparrows, brewer sparrows, American kestrel, loggerhead shrikes, northern harriers, red-tailed hawks, mountain bluebirds, western meadowlarks, and even much more. And if you even make it early in April, you're likely to see the incredible display that the greater sage grouse put on during their mating season. Now, a lot of these birds are easy to miss because really the only access to Antelope Flats is a road that cuts through and loops back down to the highway. So your best bet at seeing some of these birds, especially the smaller ones, is to get out at a pullout or where there's a small dirt road and maybe walk along a little bit to see what's out there. And then, of course, there's the hiking trails. There's a lot of fantastic trails, and many of them are forested, so you get a very different environment from the other areas that have been previously mentioned. In the lower elevations, you're likely to see a lot of different birds such as mountain chickadees, dark-eyed juncos, hairy woodpeckers, ruby-crowned kinglets, both hermit and Swainson's thrushes, and even ruffed grouse, among many others. Now, once you get up to the higher elevations, you're likely to see some more rarities such as Clark's nutcracker, black rosy finches, Townsend solitaires, and red crossbills. If you're not that big of a hiker and you don't plan on hiking up to the higher elevations, the best way to catch some of these birds is to take the tram at the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort up to the summit of Rendezvous Peak, where you can catch a lot of high elevation birds, since it is that exact same type of environment. Now, of course, birds are everywhere in the park. These are just some of my favorite locations to find them, but you're likely to see all kinds of surprises virtually anywhere. And as promised, I'm going to go over 2 more locations that are outside the park. And the first is the National Elk Refuge between Grand Teton National Park and the town of Jackson. Now, there's 2 specific places within the National Elk Refuge that are ideal for bird watching. And the first is along a dirt road that goes along the backside, aka the east side, of the refuge. Along this drive, you're likely to see horned larks, savanna sparrows, western meadowlarks, vesper sparrows, and possibly even some rock wrens on Miller Butte. Now, if you're lucky, there are some birds that sometimes visit the National Elk Refuge that would make the drive well worth it. And these include things like prairie falcons, golden eagles, Swainson's hawks, long-billed curlews, and I've even seen an American pipit out there. Now, the second great spot on the National Elk Refuge is the Flat Creek Overlook along Highway 89. For about 100 to 200 yards south of that, there's lots of great ponds, and you can go all the way down to the Greater Yellowstone Visitor Center, where there's all kinds of amazing things to see. This can include buffleheads, trumpeter swans, ring-necked ducks, Wilson snipe, sora, yellow-headed blackbirds, marsh wrens, and much more. It's a great wetlands area, and it's ripe with a lot of great potential. And the other area that I really like for birding is both Emily Stevens Pond as well as our park, which stands for Rendezvous Park. These are both along the Snake River just east of the town of Wilson, and our park has a bunch of trails that go around ponds and wetlands, and then Emily Stevens Ponds is on the other side of the Snake River, where there's a levee that you can walk along for about 4.5 miles round trip if you want to go that far. The great thing is both are connected by a pedestrian bridge where you can also see a lot of birds flying around on the river below. This can include cliff swallows as well as spotted sandpipers among many other waterfowl. And between the two, I frequently see lots of different kinds of warblers, flycatchers, sparrows, waterfowl, and really anything else you might find in a Rocky Mountain riparian area. So I hope you found that helpful, and quick reminder, if you do want to come out birding with me, I do offer private photography workshops, which we can go out and do all kinds of birding, as well as any other animals or things you want to see in the area. So check out the link in the description for that. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And if you have any questions or comments, or maybe there's something that I missed, definitely leave it down in the comment below. And thanks for watching. Happy trails.